The Titanic sub. It's not a submarine, it's a submersible. So it doesn't have its own power, but it's a submersible. That's the story on the news these days, a couple of days. It's a sad story. It's a fascinating story. It's kind of a... How could you be so stupid into going into a minivan size submersible to go so deep into the ocean where there is no light? So we can say, wow, look, here's the Titanic. Wow, wasn't that cool? Let's go back up again. And you're spending each person $250,000 US dollars. So for a Canadian, that'd be me around $350,000 per person to go and say, look, here's the Titanic. Isn't this cool? Wow, let's go back up again. And then when you get in trouble, when there is no contact, the whole world goes upside down, inside out, to try to find you and rescue you. Now, this is going to sound very cruel, very uncharitable, very unchristian. But when you think about it, with the Mr. Spock logic, which is actually sanity, you will say, well, are we, first of all, these people spent $250,000 each. And they had a lot of waivers. When I saw some programming, somebody who actually went on this boat, this submersible, and they had to sign tons of waivers on all the dangers and possibilities of death and mangling and all kinds of possibilities on the boat and on the ship, on the submersible, and all of that. They signed it. They know it. They know the risk. Now, they're all billionaires, multi-billionaires, so they can throw, $250,000. Who cares? It's just like, $250,000. Who cares? It's just pennies to them. For example, like you see this guy, there's a very sad story. A man from Pakistan, he's a billionaire. So he's married. I think he has a daughter and a son. So he took his son. So him and his son went on this adventure. So this guy from Pakistan spent $500,000 for him and his son to go and say, hey, here's the Titanic. Wow, isn't that cool? Let's go back up again and tell everybody we spent $500,000 so we can say, look, we saw the Titanic. And imagine, just in your head, what would $500,000 US do for the poor in Pakistan? How many homes and shelters they could build with $500,000 US in Pakistan? How many mouths they could fill and feed with $500,000 US in Pakistan? No. It's just pride. Look, we're going to waste this tons of money, especially for people in my land, they say Pakistan. So I can just say, look, I saw the Titanic. Isn't that cool? Now the whole world is upside down, spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars trying to find this little submersible in the middle of the ocean to save these 5 guys, these 5 billionaires who decided, who knew the risk, who took the risk, and who couldn't care less about spending $250,000 to go on this little adventure. And why are we spending all this money? Would 5 poor people on a boat be accorded this much worldwide attention? Nope. We have hundreds of people dying in Ukraine and Russia every single day because of the NATO expansionism instigated war. Who cares? Let them die. Flooding, starvation in the world, who cares? Farmers in India being forced to buy GMO modified seeds so they can plant, committing suicide. Who cares? That's fine. That's fine and dandy. But these 5 men, in a little submersible, let's go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to find them and rescue them. And then if they rescue them, they're going to be, oh, wow, isn't that amazing? We rescued you. And they'll be on news and on talk shows. I mean, I hope they're still alive. I hope they will be rescued. But again, what are we talking about here? We're talking about wasting. The world is wasting hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to find 5 men who knew the risk, who signed off on the risk, who spent $250,000 each so they can go to satisfy their curiosity, to satisfy their pride of saying, oh, I'm one of the very few who actually saw the Titanic. And I think one of the people on the boat, a British billionaire, I think, he actually was one of them, and he went as well took one of these first passenger space flights. Again, he spends money like it's nobody's business, but does he even use his money for any good? Probably very little. And then the few $100,000 he spends on some charity, he's a philanthropist. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing him because I don't know anything about him. But again, I'm just talking about the money wasted by these people on an ego trip, on a pride satisfaction of their pride. That's all it is. And now they're in trouble. And, well, they're billionaires. They've got families, they've got billions. They can finance their rescue. Why is the world and governments trying to rescue these people with government money? They should send the families the bill, because you people signed off on it, and now we're going to try to find your people. But again, I'm just going to close. I hope they are found. I mean, this is a horrible, horrible, horrible death, suffocating and panicking in a little van-sized submersible in the bottom of the ocean where there is no light. It's almost like being in hell almost. And the panic, can you imagine? The panic and the fear and the trembling and what's going on down there. It's if they're still alive. I mean, it's a sad situation. It's a thing to what do you call it? Have compassion for them. But my point is, would that have been done for 5 regular people on a boat lost at sea? No, they would have called off the search. Okay, done. They went out in a storm and the boat probably capsized. End of story. But these, because they're 5 billionaires, let's get the Navy and the Air Force and the Marines and the whatever, the Coast Guard and sonars and governments and submarines trying to find them. And imagine this money being wasted to find these 5 men, how much good it would have done to alleviate the sufferings of maybe even, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Could have, hundreds of thousands of poor people in especially third world countries. But anyways, that is my little spiel about this situation. I hope, again, they don't... Again, I know it sounds cruel. I know it sounds mean. I know it sounds unchristian, if you want to say it that way. But is it the Christian way to waste all this money to find 5 men who voluntarily chose to take this useless risk just to satisfy their ego and their pride? I say no. But anyways, that's it. That's all. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.